my time, you all I want. Neither of us wanna be alone. Breathing in your love, on your touch, oh, it's what I'm.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Kmberly Cloud Show. I am your host, Kmberly Cloud. I have a very special guest here for the show today. Can you go ahead and announce to the world who you are and where you're calling from?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Kimberly. I'm Rob Kalwarowsky. I'm an executive coach, author, and speaker, and I have the privilege of calling you from Costa Rica.
Great. And can you tell me what is the temperature out there?
Oh, it's beautiful today. It's an 85, just the sun's out. I know you can see it. For folks, obviously, if you're listening to this, you don't see it, but I'm on my porch and there's beautiful trees in the background, so I love it.
Yes, and can we go ahead and dive into your past, whatever you want to talk about, however far you want to go back about your past, leading up into your present?
Absolutely. So I'm Canadian. Um, I played water polo at a high level. I was on the junior national team in Canada, and then I went to MIT for mechanical engineering and management. After graduation, I moved out to British Columbia and I started working in coal mining. And, as an engineer, you're working in coal mining. And that was when I encountered my first bad boss. And there was bullying, there was passive aggressiveness, there was all of these things. And it led me to depression. And ultimately, in 2013, I tried to take my own life.
I'm
And
sorry to hear that.
thank you. I don't want folks to really sit there, right? But the part I really want folks to think about is we think that when we hit rock bottom, there's this moment of clarity. And it's like, that was when Rob decided to move to Costa Rica, right? But it wasn't that way at all. I actually literally got up the next morning. I went to work. And for 6 years, I did that. I mean, I moved jobs eventually, but like that was the pattern. But it took that time and it took some moments along the way from my friends where I started realizing, oh, I got to start learning again. And I started listening to these podcasts like Gary Vee and like Andy Frisell and Brendan Burchard and these things. And then that gave me the courage in 2019 to be like, hey, I got to make a change for me.
So you
And
stayed at that job for 6 years still?
no. I quit that job in the end of 2013. Yeah.
Once you tried to take your life?
It was about 9 months after that. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So what happened at your next job? How did you cope? And did you have a bad boss at your next job?
So this is the hard part with trauma. And
Yes.
I felt like I had more to give inside somewhere.
Yeah.
But then because of the traumatic event, I was like, I can't give it. And that was the next 6 years. I felt like I was drifting through life. I was doing the quote unquote things. Like I got, promotions, I switched jobs, I had a wife, like I got a dog, I had the outward success. But I was still inside just feeling terrible. And that was it sort of led to this point in 2019 where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't work in corporate engineering anymore. And I was just like, I just want to start my own engineering consulting business. And so I hired a coach. and I went to therapy and I did all the things, and that unlocked up here. And that's the true secret to anyone out there about making transformation in your life is your own psychology. Because what kept me trapped in these jobs was just a bunch of beliefs that I learned from my parents and from society. Well, you got to make money. You got to do it in this certain way where you get a job and you get the paycheck every 2 weeks and, it's stable. You got to get the wife and the picket fence and the dog and, those patterns. And that became the mask I wore for everyone. But as you start to get into your mind and you start unlearning these patterns and these beliefs that are not yours, that's when you can start to transform. And that's when the rocket ship took off for me was I did a lot of that. It took me 2 years to do a lot of deep work and figure out what was actually going to work for me. And then it was like 2021 to 2025 today. I quit my job as an engineer, became a leadership coach. I got married. I moved to Costa Rica. I did a TED Talk and I wrote a book and I launched my own business.
Tell me about your leadership talk. Well done, by the way, but tell me about your leadership talk.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So my leadership talk, you can check it out on YouTube. It's on the TEDx channel. It's called How to Handle a Bad Boss. And right now it's around 250,000 views. So obviously a lot of folks have bad bosses. But it really breaks down the 6 archetypes of toxic bosses and what can you do if you have a boss in these 6 archetypes. Now, I just want to preface this, right? Is your own personal situation is what matters the most. So financially, family, medical insurance, like whatever those things are for you, that's going to impact whether you pivot internally, whether you quit your job, whether you get another job outside of it, or right. But the actual boss specific tips you can absolutely hear in that talk. And then you can also check out, I have a free ebook on how to deal boss.com for that. And so you're welcome to go there and get it too.
Give us some snippets like of what you can talk about of bad bosses.
Yeah. So there's 6 types, right? When we often think about a bad boss, we're thinking about probably 2 types. The arrogant and violent boss, which is, I always describe this as Gordon Ramsay on Hell's Kitchen if you serve him undercooked chicken. Right? He'll throw the dish on the ground, he'll yell at you, he'll call you a donkey, and like that's the arrogant and violent boss. But only 5.5% of the workforce has a boss like that. What's more common is the abusive narcissist. And this type of boss, similar, you can think of that person like Leonardo DiCaprio's role on Wolf of Wall Street, the Jordan Belfort character, right? So he's taking all the credit, he's deflecting all the blame, it's all about me. And yeah, I'll yell at folks, but really it's all about me. If you have bosses like those two, and that's actually 25% of the population has both of those combinations, eventually you'll need to quit or switch departments, right? But you'll need to get a new boss because those bosses, you will not be able to change them. They don't want to change and their behavior won't change.
Okay. And well said. And what you had your TEDx speaking. Tell me about how they found you. Did you find them or they found you?
A bit of both, actually. So I did my TED Talk in Japan.
Okay.
And Japan has very high rates of work-related suicides. And they have a lot of, because their culture is very much, I don't speak about any of my problems. I don't let this go out, but there's a lot of they have a very like their cultures also has a lot of shame, and they have a huge problem with this. Is like they have actually a law that was created in 2019 about power harassment, which is a version of the boss bullying their underlings. And so there now that's illegal in Japan.
Good.
But they had like it's a really high number. It's in the 20 million range.
What is America doing about it?
Not much. And I think you can see this based on politics and corporate right now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and you are an author as well. Tell us about your book and an excerpt from your book.
Yeah. So my book it's continuing the same trend. So it's the Antidote for the Asshole Boss. And if you want to get the first 2 chapters for free, you can go to my website, robkalwarowsky.com/book, and then just put in your email and we'll send you the first 2 chapters.
Have your boss ever apologized for being that arrogant and wrong towards you?
Not that one. But I did get one boss who actually wasn't even he was a fine boss, but he reached out once and he was like, "Are you talking about me?" and yeah, I wasn't talking about him, but yeah, he did. Well, one of them reached out. The other one, of course, is not that way.
Understood. You had to learn a lot of psychology in this because you had to learn how their minds work, and you have to leave people where they are, and you had to actually um, reject that bullying and leave from that bullying because it was becoming negative to you. And I think that America should do something about it because seeing is what it has done to you with almost committing suicide. That's not a good thing. I I so you can feel comfortable. I've almost committed suicide. You know, it's just, it wasn't done it was bullying, but not that type of bullying
Totally.
with the yeah,
I'm
and
sorry.
it's okay, but it is sad. You go to a place of work to do your job and go home, not get bullied, and can you tell the people, how they can reach you because we're kind of like short on time. I forgot about that. I'll tell you after the show why.
Absolutely. So, of course, you can find me on LinkedIn, Rob Kalwarowsky, or you can go to my website, robkalwarowsky.com. You can get the book there, but you can also find me for if you want coaching or if you want group leadership programs for your office. Of course, we won't say bad bosses in that. But yeah, I offer group coaching, one-on-one coaching, and keynote speaking. So if you're looking for a speaker as well, I have a few keynotes that are fun, and you can see my TED Talk and all the things there too.
If you had to give a piece of advice to somebody that want to be in your shoes right now, what would it be?
Choose for yourself.
I
It's
like that. Yeah.
this is the secret to all of it. The entire Bad Boss book, we get into psychology. And to be honest, if you're a boss or you're a person who has a bad boss, it doesn't really matter because the point of the book is to teach you the psychology. And then at the end, we're talking about how do you build freedom and confidence and growth so you can choose what the life you want to live. Because not Costa Rica is not right for everybody, but it was right for me. And if you're out there and you want to be like me, you don't want to be me. You want to be you and your best self. And that's why you need to choose for yourself. And it's the same thing about a bad boss. If you have a bad boss and they're hurting you, you can choose how you want to respond. You can leave, you can transfer, you can get another job. There's a lot of things you can do, but you got to choose for you. And you're the person who's the best to choose for you, not me.
Well said. And once again, what are those, tell me how they can reach you once more, and then we're going to
Yes.
depart.
So find me at robkalwarowsky.com, KALWAROWSKY, and everything's there. You can contact me by email there. You can find my LinkedIn and all the things. Just go there, robkalwarowsky.com.
Thank you so much, Rob, for joining my show today. Stay on the line, and thank you guys for joining my show today. I hope y'all learned something seriously about badass bosses. Y'all take care, be safe, and I'll see you guys another time. Bye.
Never waste my time.